God is my guys, know that we fly, know that they ride or die. Why they wanna move like that? Where you want gone? Why you want act like that? Why you play hard? No rush, go and move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love into peace and gloves. Now you got a deal run up.
Allegations have surfaced last month that the tattoo parlor Pins and Needles has been using security camera footage to photograph women as they are getting piercings in erogenous areas, and those pictures are allegedly being shared to other people and being bragged about by the owner of the parlor, Kral. In June 2005, when Corey was just 18, he was involved in some burglary involving a firearm, and he was charged with a felony in the second degree and had to serve 5 years in prison. Now, if an investigation were to take place and he would be charged with this type of a crime, he could be charged with non-consensual pornography, which would be a gross misdemeanor in the first offense. And if he would be found guilty of that, he would have to pay for emotional distress, invasion of privacy, maybe lost time at work, things like that, if an investigation were to take place. But right now, an investigation is not being taken place, and nobody seems willing to want to look into any of this. The source that we interviewed for this story went to the Parkersburg Police Department and talked to 3 different detectives and got no callbacks from any of the 3. She was told she needed to go to the health department. She went to the health department, and nothing there was seen to be in violation at that time. It wasn't really a health department issue, it was more of a criminal offense. Now, you can see the mottos of these agencies. It says protecting the public in the health department logo, and then the police, it says to protect and serve right there. So why isn't anything being done, at least an investigation or something? Because you've got a woman who's alleging that this stuff is happening. I think it deserves to be looked into to protect our community. You can see the guy does very good work. He's a very detailed artist, and it speaks for itself. But the thing is, if he's not doing the right things and he is guilty of this stuff, then something needs to be done about it, or at the very least, the public needs to make a determination on whether they want to go there or not for his services. So let's get into the specifics about exactly what this young lady is alleging.
So, I worked under him for 6 months, and, it usually takes quite a few months to get to truly know somebody. He took pictures of my sister when she came home from the Air Force just for a little home visit, and she was getting her nipples pierced, and he went on to the camera without her consent. And I've had hundreds of clients there fill out those forms, and nothing in those forms says that you can take pictures through the surveillance. I mean, it may say something about taking pictures of the tattoo, but if the police department would do their job, which I agree with you on that, I agree that they're pretty lazy and it's corrupt, and I think everybody pretty much knows that. But if they did their job and the detectives investigated that, whether or not he has seen that post and has already tried to delete evidence, they can find pictures on his phone. And he has personally shown me pictures of women and girls, and when I looked at him and told him, like, this is fucked up, basically, he just laughs about it. And that's one of the main reasons why I quit that, and I denied having sex with him. So, I really hope something's done about this. Half the other artists in town, especially his ex-wife, Kayla, the owner of Ink or Die, doesn't want to come forward with that, which I have to respect that as an artist. But at the same time, I feel if more people would speak up about this, something would happen with it. The real problem now is just the evidence. Like I said, not a whole lot of women want to come forward with this. My sister has no problem doing it. She was one of the victims. There are pictures of me that he has been showing around. I'm talking like several hundred women that he has taken pictures of and sleeping with clients. And I can speak on this, and it just blows my mind that my evidence that I have, that I have seen with my eyes isn't enough to pursue a case. They want pictures, they want evidence. I can't get a hold of those things.
Now, if this claim is true, that means that any of the hundreds of women who have had these services done could have had naked pictures of them saved on this guy's phone, and he could have shared them to a couple people to brag about it. We just don't know. The reason we do these videos is because it's a possible threat to the community. Now, if an investigation was done and he was deemed guilty of it a first time, and then a second time would be 5 years in prison, like when he had to serve for the felony of the burglary of the firearm, and then also up to $10,000 in fines. That would be a second offense for non-consensual pornography. Now, under Section 13A 1141, it could actually be classified as voyeurism in the first degree if the person is fulfilling sexual desires by photographing or filming another person through, around, or in clothing. So you can see whether true or false. These are very serious allegations, and this community should take them very seriously as well.
And I also just got word that he called the health department on me today, which is no big deal. You know, I'm legal. I make sure that I do everything on my end to stay up to date with the code in the health department. But he basically called my job that I'm working at now and complained about me through the health department. So if that doesn't scream I'm guilty, I don't know what does. He already pretty much knows that it's me. I guarantee it. Because I'm the only one that's spoken up about it. He's done this to hundreds of girls. My sister, you know, the reason why she said she didn't come forward is because the police don't do anything, which is true. You know, I almost gave up this morning because, you know, they led me to detectives' numbers and all this bull, and, you know, the attorney wasn't any help. So, honestly, this would also highlight why women do not come forward in this community when it comes to sexual assault and being violated and all that stuff, because we're just seen as a joke. And the apprentice that worked there shortly after I had started, her name's Aubrey. When I quit, Corey wouldn't let me get any of my equipment, which the law enforcement wouldn't do anything about that either. So I lost out on thousands and thousands of dollars. My machine alone was $700. My inks and pigments and needles and cleaning supplies was, you know, $700, if not more. Toolboxes, just everything. You know, I lost out on all that, and Corey ended up giving all of my equipment to Aubrey and the other apprentices there. And, you know, if they're comfortable with using someone's things like that left because of the bullshit that was going on, so what if they got called out on it? You know, Sydney's obviously defending Corey as well, so.
These brothers my guys, know that we fly, know that they ride or die. Why they wanna move like that?
So now we want to investigate Sydney Durham. She works at Pins and Needles, and our source is saying that maybe she's not being completely honest about the situation at hand either. So let's investigate. So Sydney Durham has made a long-winded post on Facebook calling out the person who has called them out at Pins and Needles. And basically Sydney is saying none of this is true. They called the health department on her because basically she was ratting them out. So let's see what's happening here.
So I want to give a breakdown on this. This is the apprentice that is having sexual relationships with Corey, and she blasted my name fully. So, but a breakdown of this, she is basically telling people that she doesn't know about what's going on, when that's bullshit. And you can add this in the video. Sydney Lee found out the exact same way that I did. One of Corey's exes saw us out at a bar, me, Sydney, and Rachel, and told all of us that Corey had pictures of my sister on his phone. And that's when I immediately texted my sister and asked if it was true. And she's like, yeah, I couldn't do anything about it. So the fact that she's lying and defending him is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. And the fact that she thinks that she's not lying to herself, like she's literally having sex with him. He has cheated on her, and I've went over to her house and helped her cry over this man, and she's still defending him. Yeah, that's the thing that sucks, is I wish that I have 5 people that would be more than happy to go to court and testify against it, but the fact that there is no hard evidence is really difficult, and that's what sucks. You know, I've got me where I wouldn't even ask to see his phone. And he's like, oh, look at these pictures and videos of my ex from 2 years ago, and look at these surveillance pictures and these piercings that I've done. And I know it says nowhere in those contracts that you could violate people like that. So I've seen it firsthand. My sister saw pictures of her firsthand. Like I said, Bryson, he has several messages between Corey. He just doesn't want to get involved. And then there's a couple other girls that said that they were pretty uncomfortable in his presence. So, and then Justin Hoffmeister, his last employer, also said that he has messages if he could get in there and find them. That's quite a few people for this not to be true. So, yeah, I feel pretty strongly about it too.